In 1587, over 100 English men, women, and children landed on the shores of Roanoke Island. They braved the treacherous Atlantic Ocean with a single dream: to build the first permanent English empire in the New World. Led by Governor John White, they built a small, hopeful village. They cleared the land, established homes, and even celebrated a historic milestone: the birth of Virginia Dare, the very first English child born on American soil. The colony was a symbol of hope, but hope quickly turned into a living nightmare. 3 years later, when a rescue ship finally returned to check on them, the entire colony had completely vanished into thin air. There were no signs of a brutal battle. No bodies were ever found, no graves. Over 100 people had simply erased from existence. The only clue left behind by this ghost colony was a single, chilling word carved into a wooden post: Croatoan. What happened to the Lost Colony of Roanoke? Where did they go? Today we uncover the darkest mystery in American history. To understand the disappearance, we must go back to the beginning. The year was 1587. Life on Roanoke Island was incredibly brutal. The settlers arrived too late in the season to plant crops. Food supplies were dangerously low, and relations with some of the local Native American tribes were growing increasingly hostile and violent. With winter fast approaching, the colony was on the brink of starvation. They realized that if they didn't get help from England, they would all die. The settlers begged their leader, Governor John White, to sail back to England and return with urgent food, supplies, and reinforcements. White did not want to leave. His daughter Eleanor and his newborn granddaughter, Virginia Dare, were on that island, but he had no choice. To save his family, he had to leave them behind. Before he left, White told the settlers that if they were forced to leave the island due to danger, they must carve the name of their new location onto a tree or a post, and if they were in distress, they must carve a cross above the name. In August 1587, John White sailed away, promising to return in just a few months. He had no idea it would be the last time he would ever see his family alive. When John White arrived in England, disaster struck. A massive war broke out between England and Spain, the famous Spanish Armada. Queen Elizabeth I ordered every single English ship to be seized for the war effort. White was trapped. For 3 long years, he begged the authorities for a ship to go back and save his family, but his pleas were ignored. Can you imagine the agony? For 36 months, White lay awake at night, wondering if his daughter and granddaughter were starving, captured, or dead. Finally, in 1590, the war ended. White managed to secure a spot on a privateer ship heading to the West Indies. After months of rough sailing through violent storms, the ship finally anchored near Roanoke Island on August 18th, 1590, ironically on his granddaughter Virginia Dare's 3rd birthday. As night fell, White saw smoke rising from the island. Hope flared in his heart. They were alive. But as the rescue crew rowed toward the shore through the dark, eerie fog, they realized something was deeply wrong. John White stepped onto the beach and called out to his people. No one answered. The silence was deafening. The crew walked into the settlement, and what they found sent chills down their spines. The houses had been completely dismantled. The heavy wooden palisade wall that protected the village was still standing, but inside, there was absolutely no one. It looked as if the settlers had packed up and left in a hurry, but there was no sign of a struggle, no blood, and no signs of an attack by enemy forces or tribes. Then John White spotted the wooden post at the entrance of the settlement. Carved deeply into the wood were the capital letters Croatoan. On another tree, the letters CRO were scratched. White remembered his instructions. He immediately looked for the cross, the universal sign of distress. But there was no cross. This meant the settlers had left willingly. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, home to a friendly Native American tribe. White was relieved. He believed his family was safe on the neighboring island. He ordered the ship to sail to Croatoan. But the Atlantic Ocean had other plans. A massive, violent storm hit the ship, breaking their anchor cables and threatening to destroy the vessel. Low on food and water, the captain refused to go any further. They were forced to sail back to England. John White was broken. He never found the money or the resources to return to America again. He died a few years later in England, never knowing the fate of his beloved family. For over 400 years, historians and scientists have tried to solve the mystery of Roanoke. What really happened to those 115 people? There are three main theories. Theory number 1, the integration. Many historians believe that facing starvation, the settlers moved to Croatoan Island and integrated with the friendly native tribe. Over generations, they married into the tribe, and their descendants became part of the native population. In later years, explorers reported seeing Native Americans with gray eyes and a strange ability to speak English. Theory number 1. Another darker theory suggests that the settlers tried to sail back to England on their own, using small boats, but were swallowed by the violent ocean storms. Alternatively, some believe they were attacked and wiped out by a hostile rival tribe, who hid the bodies to avoid retaliation. Theory number 3, the inland move. Recent hidden maps drawn by John White revealed a secret fort symbol located 50 miles inland. Some scientists believe the colony split up and moved deep into the mainland of North Carolina to find fertile farming ground. Despite modern technology, satellite imaging, and DNA testing, the true fate of the Roanoke colonists remains buried in the shifting sands of time. They walked into the dark forests of America and became ghosts. What do you think happened to the lost colony? Let us know in the comments below. If you love this historical mystery, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to The Talesmith for more unsolved stories from the shadows of history. Until next time, keep questioning the past.